Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to walk you through the steps on how I achieve my skincare / foundation base routine. This is what you see in pretty much all of the videos as well as over on my Instagram. And with that being mentioned, before we start the video, make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as follow me over at @me_myself_makeup on Instagram. I post a lot of fun stuff on there, and without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Hello everyone, so today's video is all going to be about how I achieve my base. So that's concealer, foundation, a little bit of that moisture underneath it, as well as how I apply blush, highlight, as well as my current contouring routine. It has changed a lot, but I noticed I'm kind of switching back into some old habits and going back to some products that I've just always loved, and it's kind of just like, why did I ever switch out? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start off. First, what I did is the number one thing to a really good foundation base is making sure your skin is clean and moisturized. So I went in with the CeraVe Facial Moisturizing Lotion with SPF 30. It is very important to have skincare as well as sunscreen incorporated into your skincare, because that really creates the base. And I noticed my face is kind of oily at times, but lately it's been dry, so really achieving that flawless base is gonna need a lot of help because my skin is so dry. Anyways, there are two products that I would usually go into when I am a little bit more tan. I like using the L'Oreal True Match Lumi in N1-2, but it is a little bit dark. And right now I've currently fallen in love with the Infallible Pro Grow. I'm using shade 202 Creamy Natural. This one is a little bit too dark, but I can make it work once concealer and everything gets in. So I'm going to go ahead, I shook it, and literally I'm just going to apply it to my face. I like to go in sections of my face, so typically I'll do the bottom half and then I'll go back to the top half of my face. And I'm honestly like not applying a lot. And I'm going to go in with a flat, this one's a little bit angled kabuki brush, and just start kind of patting and tapping that into the skin. This way, instead of swiping, I'm not moving around any lotion or moisturizer, or even if you use primers. I'm not a big primer person. Every now and then I use primer, but one of my biggest tips is to really go ahead and pat it in, because then it kind of becomes more of like one with your skin, whereas sometimes swiping it can just, like I said, move around any product that was under it. So next up, I go ahead and start highlighting and concealing my base with the Colourpop Pretty Fresh, and I like to apply it under the eyes, on the bridge of my nose, and a little bit to my chin as well as my forehead. But I will only apply it to my chin and my forehead if I find like I have a lot less texture than what I usually do. I find if I'm breaking out a lot of my chin and my forehead, I will usually skip it, just because I find it just kind of accentuates whatever texture and redness that is there. If I really wanted to conceal it, then I would go in with a concealer that is closer to my actual skin shade and concealing it like so, and actually making it concealed rather than like a highlighted concealed. And the way that I find I really like to apply my concealer in the last probably year is with a brush. This brush I literally got off like a cheap set like forever ago, and same with that foundation brush, and it's just really pointed, so it's really nice to get up and under the eyes. I typically do not like to bring my concealer like right to my waterline, because I find I do have some lines that crease really bad. So I literally bring like the littlest product possible into those under eyes. then just tap, tap, tap. Same thing with the concealer. I like to kind of tap it into the skin. This concealer is already drying a little bit, so just gotta work it in a little bit more. You can even go in with your fingers because the warmth of your fingers will help really melt that into the skin. And one thing I've noticed that's probably the biggest change in my routine of doing my base, that when I first started doing makeup, I always used to use a sponge, and I just like hated brushes for my base routine. Don't ask me why. I never use them, but now I do, and I really don't use a sponge that much. I'll use a sponge maybe literally just to do like define the bottom, like pretty rare to be honest. If I'm using like a lot of cream products, then maybe I'll go in with that, with a sponge. But anyways, next up, as I am talking about cream products, I will not be using a sponge for it. I'm going with the Smashbox Studio Skin Shaping Foundation. I've been using this forever. Not this exact one. I'm not that disgusting. But I recently came across it again when I was cleaning out my makeup because I had bought an extra one, because I'm pretty sure these are discontinued now. And I had bought an extra one because I knew I just loved it, which I'm so happy that I did, because I do in fact love it. This one is in the shade 1.0, and so as you see, I literally just apply it directly to my skin and I swipe up little dashes, taking a flat kabuki brush, again from that same cheap set that I bought years ago, kind of stamping it and flicking it into the rest of the foundation. I like to flick it up rather than swirling it down or flicking down, because I want to really create that cheekbone carve without having to apply a ton of product and making my skin look super cakey. So go ahead and do that, and then you can see it just applies really nice, blends out really nice as well. Because it's cream, it sits into the skin a little bit nicer, I find, to give that overall healthier looking glow that I am trying to achieve and hopefully fooling people with. So once I have applied that contour to my cheekbones, I will literally just take a little bit on the brush and just kind of stamp that into my forehead. I find I mostly just do it just to kind of warm up the forehead, not necessarily contour. I like the size of my forehead. I think it suits my face. So I'm not like trying to get rid of it. And then also with any excess product, I'll literally just kind of swipe the sides of my nose just to give it a little bit of dimension and separation from just kind of all meshing together with the foundation and concealer. Next up, I will go in with my Coty Airspun powder and just lightly powder under my eyes, my chin, and my forehead, so essentially wherever I put some concealer, as well as I'll lightly dust it under here just to give the tiniest bit of a highlight and like contour, carve out, whatever you want to call it. But I am not going in with a heavy hand, like literally the lightest bit of powder, because that was another mistake I used to make a lot, was going ham with the powder, and it was just like calling for cake face. But that's just what personally works for me. Do whatever works for you. So next, after lightly powdering wherever I've kind of placed concealer and just slightly underneath the cheekbone, I'm going in with the Milani Luminoso Baked Powder Blush. And this has been a favorite of mine for a year now, and it's just one that I always reach to. I'm going ahead with this Firma 103 brush. I actually got this in an Ipsy bag a while ago, but I really like smaller brushes for applying my blush because then I can really put it where I want it to be, essentially. So going in with that, I'm just gonna smile and just like really just like flick it onto the skin. I'm not like pressing and swiping. I like to flick my blush onto the skin. Probably sounds really weird, but that's like literally what I'm doing, or if not like kind of tapping it. But start off with a little bit of product and just build it up. After I've gotten the desired blush look and build up that I want, I go in with a highlighter, obviously, who doesn't these days, and I'm using the Flexitarian Super Shock Cheek Highlighter with the Flower Beauty. I believe this was actually a blush brush, but it's just kind of like a nice shape that I like to use for highlighting. And I just tap it, and I'm bringing it, I like to kind of bring it on the apple of my cheek, and then bring it back up to my actual cheekbone as well. And this and that baked blush both obviously have shimmer. Those obviously have shimmer, but that baked blush has shimmer in it, so it is again adding like a nice glow to my skin and giving it more of that healthy appearance. For other places that I like to highlight, it's usually just like in between the eyebrows here, just so like the light when you're out and about doing stuff, it just like ever so slightly catches it. And I don't know, to me it is just really nice. It's pretty rare that I'll hit the chin. Again, depends if I have texture, so I'll just lightly hit it now. And I'll lightly hit my Cupid's bow with whatever is on my brush. Then to really just finish off the skin, I will go in with a mist of some sort. I've currently been using the Evian Natural Mineral Water, and I'll go ahead and just spritz my face. Go ahead, add in any extra hydration. My skin is actually feeling really good. It's not feeling too like dry or cakey from any of the powder, so which is a really good sign. And also, I really like how light and kind of airy it's looking. And I'm just really happy with overall how all of those products kind of act together. That's another big thing, is just finding those products that you love and like. One thing I will mention is, yes, don't hate me, I do like my under eye concealer to be like probably 2 to 3 shades lighter. It's just something I really like, a really highlighted under eye. And yes, I am aware my neck and face are still a little bit off. I don't have a problem with admitting that, yeah, my foundation color is not exact right now, but I'm not about to go make a custom shade for me. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead, finish up my eyes, put on a lip and my eyebrows, and go ahead and give you an overview of how the skin looks. So you guys, that is how I achieve my everyday base. It is what you guys see in majority of my videos as well as any Instagram pictures. I really have re-fallen in love with cream contouring, and especially with spring and summer coming around, it just makes for a really light, natural base that kind of just really looks like skin. A lot of the products, like I said, is like really good holy grail products that I've been using for a while, or have really come to love within the last couple of months that I maybe have been using them. So guys, I hope you liked today's video, learned something new, and maybe try a different step in your skincare and base routine. And without further ado, I'll see you guys next time.